21, we lost by 1 point. So we were close in 21, we didn't race in 20. Our last victory was 2019, it was a few years ago.
You can expect a big fight for the podium. That podium spot for us is very important.
It's super competitive. All the boats in the fleet have been winning races. It's going to be an exciting week of racing.
Of course, there are some good teams directly close behind us, but you can't look on the scoreboard right now.
You'd rather have a 5-point lead than an 18-point lead, because if you cough up an 18-point lead, you're going to feel bad about it.
100% the pressure's on Quantum. This whole year we've been the underdogs. We're not expected to win, but we've got a shot at it, and that's the best place you can be.
The magnificent Spanish city of Barcelona was a fitting host venue for the climax of the 10th anniversary season of the 52 Super Series. The city currently sits at the epicenter of the competitive sailing world, but Barcelona also has a very significant place in the 10-year history of the series.
It's great to be back in Barcelona. This is where it all started, Super Series 10 years ago. Here we are again now, and we're 10 years on in the Super Series with 10 great boats, really competitive fleet. It's going to be a great week of racing.
10 years ago was the first event in the series here in Barcelona, so it's very exciting to recognize that this class was amazing 10 years ago and is still at top level after 10 years.
A decade ago, that inaugural Super Series was won by just 5 points. So it's fitting that as the current fleet arrive in Barcelona, margins are tight once again. After a season of racing, the top 2 boats are separated by just 5 points.
Here we are at the final event of the season, and it's close. You know, we've raced really hard. We're in a good position, but you can never take anything for granted in this fleet. So as we look to the regatta, you can't let your foot off the accelerator at all. You have to keep sailing, as hard as we can.
When we race the regattas, you spend the first 3 or 4 days getting yourself to the last day of the event for an opportunity to win. Here we've had 5 series, so we've spent the first 4 series getting ourselves to the spot where we have the opportunity to win. And really from there, it's up to us to take advantage of it.
Sitting on top of the series rankings, a win here in Barcelona will give Quantum Racing 5 52 Super Series titles in a season that's already seen them win the World Championships. But right behind them, South African team Phoenix sit perfectly poised to deny the Americans and claim a maiden series win for themselves.
It's definitely possible to close the gap, but for sure Quantum are the form team. They've won 3 out of 4 events this year, and I would love to win the Super Series with this team. I think they deserve it. They've been putting in the work for a long time.
Any team at any point in time when they're this close and only 5 points off the lead is very keen to get there and close it at the end of the event.
We've got Tina here this week, and that's going to be exciting. She's going to be racing again for the first time in, I think, 3 years, and it's exciting. Hopefully we can get a great result with her.
The fine balance at the top of the leaderboard comes after 4 events so far, 3 of which have been won by Quantum Racing. The team from the US have had a consistent season, but the event prior to Barcelona in Scarlino, Italy, was one of the most open in the series history. The 10 races sailed, seeing 7 different winners.
We had a few really good moments in Scarlino, and we were leading the event for 1 or 2 days. We could still win the event on the last race. We had to put 1 boat between us and Quantum.
Into the final day, Sled were looking good for their first series win of the season. Winning margins are slim in this fleet though, and a penalty in the final race of the regatta saw them slip to second.
As a team, we sailed really, really well in Scarlino, and to finish second is still a very good result.
Team Phoenix arrived in Scarlino on a high, leading the rankings fresh from a first ever regatta win in event number 3, Puerto Portals. They picked up a race win in the Italian regatta, but 2 7th places cost them dearly, and they finished down the table in 7th place.
The Scarlino, for sure, it was a bit of a tough event. We sailed well, but we weren't quite firing. We just didn't round the top mark in good enough shape. So There's plenty to do for us. We've got plenty of things we need to work on, but we're excited for this week.
In contrast, Quantum Racing arrived in Scarlino off the back of one of their worst regatta finishes of all time. A 4th place in Puerto Portals, seeing them off the podium for the first time since mid-2019. In Scarlino, there was work to do.
You know, it's been a great season, but we had a little stumble in Puerto Portals, so Scarlino was huge for us to get back on track. And it was a challenging regatta, and so that was a huge step for us to bring us here to Barcelona.
With the success of the season on the line, Scarlino saw Team Quantum battling some significant issues off the water, issues that put sailboat racing into perspective as they fought to stay in touch in the title race.
You know, Scarlino probably for us was one of the most difficult regattas that we've done. I mean, everybody is just so good, and one of the big things that impacted us, you know, we were missing 2 of our key components. Rodney Ardern, who had an emergency in his family and had to leave, and Warwick Fleury, who had a health issue that he was dealing with. And it took us 2 or 3 days to bring in the new people, get caught back up, and then we started performing how we normally do.
Quantum's victory against adversity in Scarlino may have been an ominous sign for the rest of the fleet, but on day 1 in Barcelona, it was game faces all round as the wind slowly filled in and the 10-boat fleet made ready for the first day of racing. Underway in a shifty 8 to 10 knots, with the offshore left end of the line holding slightly more breeze, it was Quantum with the pin end advantage, maintaining that winning momentum as the first race took shape. As the fleet tacked over to the right, Tony Langley's Gladiator rolled the dice and stayed left the longest, looking for the advantage, while Phoenix worked back through the fleet after a poor start. By the upwind mark, in a very light breeze, Quantum eased around in first place. Behind them, the white hull of Andy Soriano's Allegre rounded second. And as Quantum set their kite for the first downwind, further down the pack, the number 11 hull of title hopefuls Phoenix was giving away places, slipping all the way down into 10th place on a day when passing opportunities looked very hard to come by. Out front, Allegre consolidated in second place, but was under constant pressure from Ergin Imre's Provetza in third. At the completion of 2 laps though, Quantum Racing had thrown down the gauntlet, leading all the way from the start line in race 1 to take a massive early lead. Allegre and Provetza went all the way to the line, the white hull of Allegre just taking second place. While Phoenix clawed a few places back, they still finished 7th, a result that doubled the gap on the leaderboard.
We fought back 3 points and they can be valuable, so in the end we sort of sailed okay from there to chip those 3 points back. We know they're important, so yeah, only 1 race in.
The boat's going pretty well, just found the right spot. We're able to get free. You know, that's always feel very fortunate when that happens in this class, to be able to kind of find a good lane and be able to keep it and take it all the way home. So we're pretty grateful.
Day 1 in Barcelona saw just 1 race. Day 2, and the fleet were left all day waiting for wind. Lying third in the table coming into this final regatta, German-based Platoon are racing here in Barcelona, having made a significant change to their afterguard at the event in Scarlino. They made the decision to part ways with tactician John Costecchi in favour of veteran Italian campaigner Vasco Voscotto.
Sometimes it's like in soccer. I mean, you don't know why it's not working, but it's not working anymore. And then you might change a coach or something in the team. And so we did, and Vasco jumped in, and was a little bit tricky for me and Vasco for the first 2 or 3 days. But then after a while it worked better and better.
I feel very lucky to join this team in Scarlino. I feel that this is a great opportunity for me as a sailor. So I have a lot of pressure just to have the same result that they had in the past.
The early racing in Scarlino put Platoon in the bottom half of the fleet, but as the relationship grew, teamwork flourished, and after 10 difficult races, including 2 race wins, the team picked up a very creditable 3rd place finish.
After doing a major change in the afterguard on a team like this, that's a big achievement, and that's the first step, and maybe we can do better here as well in Barcelona.
I think that with our coaches, with all the crew, we're managing to deal with a new kind of communication, with a new crazy Italian tactician. So I think that we did quite well.
The man tasked with making the new dynamic work was an Olympic silver medalist when the Games were here in Barcelona in 1992. This week, he needs to ensure the team hold on to their current 3rd place in the series out in the shifty breeze.
In this class, any little mistake you make is just appropriately punished. So there's no room for errors, and you got to just think processes and, you know, good start, solid first decision, take it from there. And, you know, we just keep piecing those solid starts, solid first decisions, and you just continually keep doing the next right thing. 3, 2, 1, gun.
Shut out at the committee boat end at the start of race 2, Platoon started a long way behind the fleet as Thai boat Vayu led to the right of the course. The error wasn't catastrophic though, and on the march upwind, Platoon was out front with the leaders Interlodge and Sled.
So, right's been pretty strong, we could be leading.
Under the ever-watchful eye of Coach Risa, Platoon rounded the top mark just behind Interlodge and was looking good into the first downwind. Quantum Racing rounded in 3rd, and again pressing hard, Provezza started the downwind in 4th. At one stage, the team on Platoon had muscled into the lead, and on the run into the finish were holding off the challenge from Phoenix and Quantum. Edged out on the line by Provezza, it was 2nd place in race 2 for Platoon, just ahead of Phoenix in 3rd.
Amazing recovery after the start. You know, stayed in the wind and lifted tack and rounded the weather mark in 2nd, so you take that any day. You know, they were probably back to 4th for a little while and rallied back to 2nd, so you can't ask for anyone more than that.
The world's premier monohull yacht racing circuit is celebrating the final event of its 10th season as the 52 Super Series wraps up 2022 in the stylish Spanish city of Barcelona. 10 years ago, the 52 Super Series evolved from the formation of a class with origins in a very specific type of raceboat. Although its long-established home is now the Mediterranean, the original roots of the class lie in a very different ocean.
The TP52 class was born out of Southern California with a group of sailors that wanted to race 52-foot boats. Not really one design, but in a tight box rule to Hawaii, and from there the class grew here in the Mediterranean, and it became the premier windward leeward racing boat in the world. And racing is just fantastic. The boats are amazing.
The boats have developed into the most sophisticated non-foiling monohull raceboats in the world. Each boat on the series is a very individual design, but they're all based on a very specific set of design parameters, the TP52 box rule.
Well, the box rule really defines the overall length, the maximum beam, maximum draft, the keel and bulb weight, which is pretty key, the mast height, the mast weight, sail areas. So all the big parameters are defined.
The box rule is, as the word's saying, it is providing a geometrical and or mathematical box in which the boat can be designed to. But all the rest of that, so everything that is not fixed in the box rule, is for free. It's just within this box trying to find what you think is the absolute optimum for it. And I can say I still haven't found the absolute optimum, but yeah, we're getting better and better on it.
Sailing the TP52 is just fantastic. It's a really powerful boat when the breeze is up, but yet with the right people on board, they're super controllable and they're fast and exhilarating.
Every single boat that you see, they share the same hull, but then everyone has their own boat with their own systems, their own rig, their own sails. They're all, in a way, pretty different.
While it feels somewhat like one design, each boat is unique in design and has a very specified strength or weakness, and really allows all the teams to explore different areas of the rule and different areas of performance.
With these boats, it is still the opportunity that a team really has an idea on how they actually want to sail it, and then we try everything to make that happen, that the whole idea on how the teamwork is on the boat, that the layout actually matches that as good as possible.
It's challenging, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's not just that the boats are great, but the people in the fleet and the ownership, and it's really a special thing in the world of sailing.
In Barcelona, the atmosphere may appear relaxed, but with just 2 races sailed, the title race is still wide open. So far, it's very much advantage Quantum Racing, the Americans having doubled their lead over Phoenix in the series rankings to 10 points. But as racing continued in the light, shifty winds off the city's coastline, all that could change very quickly. Race 3, and it was Thai Series rookies Vayu that held the pin-end advantage, but sitting in a clear lane with breeze ahead of them, Phoenix were pressing for the lead on the first upwind. To the left of the course, Quantum was struggling to get away from that new afterguard pairing on board Platoon. And by the first mark rounding, Phoenix were in charge, first to the top mark and easing their way around, but it's not enough to just lead the fleet. They need points between them and Quantum in the title race, Vayu and Allegre providing a bit of a buffer ahead of the ominous figure of Quantum Racing. Further down the fleet, Platoon were battling to maintain their 3rd place in the series rankings, rounding the weather mark in 5th. Out front and heading downwind, Phoenix was still leading. Vayu and Allegre then still playing that vital role in Phoenix's title chase as they held off Quantum. But into the downwind gate, it was getting close. Phoenix heading in first, Tina Plattner at the helm, easing the boat round the left mark. Vayu following, and then Allegre, all 3 rounding the left-hand gate, while at the right-hand side, Quantum rolled the dice and rounded the other mark, looking for a passing opportunity on the march back upwind. Extending the lead though, Phoenix had sailed into a good position and wasn't going to relent. First to the final upwind rounding, they still had 2 boats between them and Quantum. But the drama wasn't over for the South African boat. Vayu, pushing hard on the downwind, almost took the lead away from Phoenix on the run into the line. Coming into the cross, Vayu, without the right-of-way, made a late change of mind, and with the jury boat right there, it's a penalty to Vayu. Phoenix were left clear to sail for the line, the winners of race 3. Allegre took second, Vayu still edged out Quantum after completing that penalty. And there was more good news for Phoenix in race 4. Harm Muller-Spreer's Platoon took the win, but Phoenix took second to Quantum's 6th. A huge day for Phoenix that puts them back within just 3 points of Quantum as the title race goes down to the wire.
Yeah, we did pull a couple of points back on Quantum. We're stoked. We're really happy. We're in the hunt. Tina's doing unbelievably. When you think she hasn't sailed for nearly 3 years and she comes into the 52 Super Series, and we're in the battle for the overall season championship, and she has a day like today. She did an unbelievable job. We're just going to keep chipping away and see how we go.
The Super Series fleet attracts some of the most experienced professional sailors on the planet. But on board Quantum Racing, Slovenian Lara Polsak is in Barcelona fighting for her second series win at just 23 years of age.
Sailing in this fleet is awesome, and I have been loving it since I started. It's a very high level of racing, and the first time I stepped on the boat I was a bit frightened, and I only knew the people from the pictures and America's Cup and the TV and everything, but they included me into the team straight away. It was great from the beginning, and now I just feel part of it.
An accomplished youth sailor, Lara was invited to join the team for their successful Super Series campaign of 2018 and has since been a regular fixture, slotting into a crew of some of sailing's most experienced athletes.
I've been on this boat for 4 years now, and I came on it basically from dinghies and single-handed racing into a team of 14 people. And I think that was the biggest difference, just trying to fit into the team and find my own spot and work together with them, because everything has to work perfectly.
But for now in Barcelona, attention is very much on winning another World Series title with the team.
We always take one race at a time, one event at a time, and we're only focusing on this last event. Of course, trying to win the season, but yeah, we're basically just focusing on here and now.
With just one day of racing left for the 10-boat fleet in Barcelona, atmosphere on the dock was intense. Just 3 points separated the top two, Quantum Racing against Team Phoenix, in what was in effect a winner-takes-all final day of racing. After 42 races in the season so far, the prestigious title in this landmark 10th anniversary year would all come down to this. The final race got underway in more light airs, but as early as the start line, the writing was on the wall for Phoenix. Bow number 11 creeping over the line a second too early. Quantum started safely at the committee boat end, and as the rest of the fleet took off upwind, title hopefuls Phoenix were left recrossing the line. Platoon found themselves a safe lane. Their third place overall was looking in no doubt as they kept it safe mid-fleet. And by the first mark rounding, the title race was looking over. Quantum Racing in first place, hoisting for the downwind ahead of Interlodge in second. Platoon slipping to sixth, but already safe on the podium. By the final run home, Phoenix could do nothing out the back of the fleet. While leading downwind, Quantum confirmed the 2022 series title with another race win. Interlodge took second place, and for Phoenix, its series runners-up, despite their worst ever race finish of the series. For Quantum Racing, in a season that's already seen them crowned world champions, they scooped the elusive double, claiming a hard-fought 5th Super Series title.
Doug did an incredible job all season steering the boat, and I think the team, did an incredible job all season racing the boat. When we were down, we picked ourselves up, and we never really rested on the previous day's result, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah, Quantum were the top team all year. They won 4 out of 5 events. Hats off to them. But yeah, we were happy. We were in there pushing them. We made them nervous all the way to the last day, which is great. But with that being said, Quantum were the top team all year, and they deserve this win.
This one feels wonderful, because I've had a chance this year to be with the program almost the whole time, and in years past I haven't had the same sort of an opportunity, and so this feels pretty sweet to come back and win.
So the 10th running of the 52 Super Series draws to a spectacular close after another stunning year of sailing from the tightest monohull racing fleet in the world. After 10 years of racing, Tony Langley's Gladiator team were recognised for their commitment to the Super Series before Harm Muller-Spreer's Platoon collected their hard-fought third-place series finish. Phoenix end with a team best second overall after a season of fighting for the title.
I feel very proud of them. They've worked really hard to get here. It's been a growth over 5 years for them to get here. I feel obviously very, very proud of Tony driving, so I'm immensely proud of them for being where they are.
And taking the title, their fifth 52 Super Series crown from the USA, it's Doug DeVos's Quantum Racing.
10 years of the 52 Super Series, and it seems like yesterday. And all you think about are the people, the friends that we've made, the friends that have been part of this all the way through. It feels great to see us, 10 years later, strong. We're looking forward very confidently, and we hope more and more people join us as we go.